So this presentation aims to give you a quick overview over the power beaming. You have heard about why we need power beaming or why we are investigating power beaming in the presentation by Isaac about the space elevators, some challenges about the power consumption and transport. So one of the concepts that was shown in this presentation was power beaming. So basically, the transmission of energy through a light source and a collector, right? So power beaming is the wireless transmission of energy from a source to a receiver using electromagnetic waves, right? So that can be microwaves, lasers as light, okay? So we have the light source or sending light. So there will be a highly focused light beam going to the collector of the climber. And this will then basically as a solar cell or any type of collector that then transmits this light energy back into electric energy for the climber. So it will look something like this. You have a light source that we will provide as WSPEC, and there will be the specifications also shown for the range of power that this light will send, and so you can basically design your power beaming collectors according to this. And the focus is on the collector and receiver design, because this is also the part in the end that goes on the climber. So the idea is that in the first year, let me see. Okay, so first, I'll show you some state-of-the-art power beaming attempts that have been done in the research. So there was an 8.6 kilometer range, 800 watt transmission, which with only a 10 to 25% efficiency, only from the optical to electrical. So the sender efficiency was not shown. So how much power goes into the sender, but this is basically the energy in the light converted to electric energy in the collector efficiency. And then there's also a microwave one that could do a bit more efficiency, but a bit less range. So this is just an overview and to show you that power beaming actually is possible and also being investigated. So now to the actual setup for the WSPEC power beaming. First of all, there will be the call for white papers, which is published on the competition website as well. And basically the idea is that in the first year until the next climber competition in 2026 will be about coming up with a concept in theory on paper and present together with the climber competition this white paper about the power beaming concept. So there will be an evaluation of the concepts, but no prototypes involved and no actual measurements involved yet. But then from 2026 to 2027 to the next WSPEC, there will be the prototyping phase where the concepts that are designed on paper are then built as a prototype, and there will be the actual competition measuring the efficiency, the power transmitted, the distance transmitted in 2027 with actual prototypes. Here is the cost estimation, which I included here. I would say it's a bit hard to come up with an exact number, of course, because it depends on the setup, the scale, the design. But I would say another $5,000 is a realistic estimate. Here are some driving factors that go into the cost for power beaming receiver design, right? So of course you need some kind of photovoltaic cells, since we're using a light as a source. And there could be optics involved, which is probably a more advanced design then. Also a bit more expensive, but again, there's companies building lenses that could be potential sponsors, or there could be collaborations with them. But then also the electronic side, if there's a thermal management needed, the assembly and engineering is that something that can be done fairly easily because it's a linear test, or how much is this already designed for the space envelope a climber has, for example. So here, this is really just a call for a white paper about your idea of a collector for the power beaming system on a space elevator. So here you can really be creative about the concepts. Is it purely electrical with PV cells, or do you include optics to focus the beam first and have then smaller cells to collect the focused beam? What is your goal for efficiency? What is your goal for total power transmitted? So this is really still open and can be adapted to whatever you think fits the climber design best. But the light source is basically fixed. So we select the light source for you and it will be published. And then according to this, you can just come up with your design. So this is why this is just a very rough estimate of cost. And here's just a breakdown from Airbus actually for power beaming, because there's been quite a few concepts or use cases for power beaming still. So in this case, we basically focus only on the receiver side. And then we have photocells and inverters. So technically, we also don't really care about what comes after, because we kind of measure the efficiency that basically the power input to the sender and the power output of the receiver. Your design again is the receiver here, and there's distance, there's as I said, efficiency, and also the absolute power transmitted that are well, interesting factors. And here also just basically as an X course, this is research that is also done on power beaming. So it's not a field that is only used for the space elevator. So there is references. I don't have actual competition designs of power beaming available now, but it might make sense to look into those as well. But here, even Airbus is investigating power beaming as a well, power transfer mode. So also there should be papers available and concepts available to look into to get design ideas. But as I said, in terms of space elevator power beaming, except for what light source we're using, it's really open to you what your concepts are, what you come up with in this first theoretical phase in the first year. But again, there will also be deliverables along the way, so we can see if this still complies with the overall competition setup, and that we can guide you a little bit through the process. And the call for white paper is also here on the website. There's a bit more information there, but again, this is still very open, and we want you to be creative about the collector design. Later on, maybe you can also already keep it in mind, but really now the focus is on the collector and electronics. But later on, this of course needs to be installed in a climber. So this will be just a future outlook that for the upcoming World Space Elevator competitions, there will be the collector also mounted on a climber. So maybe in terms of the space envelope, it makes sense to already investigate this, but really focus on the technology first. What is the technology you want to use for collecting the light and giving a electrical power output from it? I hope I could already answer some of the power beaming questions, but hopefully there's also more we can talk about. And I would say we can use the time already to clarify further questions.